everybody, it is Katie here from the Queen of Teen Fiction. It is that time again, time to discuss Shadowhunters! So we've just recently seen episode 6, and then last week we had episode 5. As always, I'm going to discuss episode 5 and then discuss episode 6. I'm just going to start by saying straight away that I absolutely adored this episode. I think it might be the strongest episode that we've had so far. It was the episode where I finally felt like the show had really found its feet, and it definitely made me feel sorry for the people that gave up on the show after 2 episodes, because I felt like episode 5 it had really matured, wasn't cheesy, the dialogue was really good. I thought that the script was just completely on point. The characters were brilliant. I was just overall very proud of episode 5. Let's start by talking about why I think it worked so much better than the other episodes. And I know there might be a few people that don't agree with me, but I think it's because there was a distinct lack of Clary and Jace. A lot of the problems that I've been having with the show so far has been from the relationship between Clary and Jace, because from the very start it has been quite full on. Everything seems quite quick with them. It was like a whole insta-love kind of thing, and some of the moments between them, I found them quite cheesy, and that's where a lot of the cheesiness from the show has stemmed from for me. Whereas in episode 5, they were finally apart and doing their own thing, and I just think it worked so much better. I think we needed that break, that step back from just their relationship. So at the start of the episode, we have a conversation between Clary and Izzy about mothers, and I absolutely adored that scene because I just really like the relationship between Clary and Izzy right now. You can see the friendship that's forming between them, and you can see that Clary feels comfortable talking in front of Izzy, which I really like. Give me all the girl power. And then Isabel's mother comes into the show, and we get to meet Mayrus. Is it pronounced Mayrus? I've tried to watch it a few times to see how they say it. It's like a quick version, like Mirus. Mirus. Well, I'm just going to say Mayrus because it's easier. Anyway, I absolutely adored her introduction into the show. She looks so severe. She's like a commander, and her children aren't her children, they're like her soldiers. The way she greets Isabel, she doesn't hug her or anything. And because Clary and Izzy had just been having that conversation about how close Clary is to her mum, and then we see the stark contrast between Izzy and Mayrus, I loved everything about that scene. Okay then, so throughout episode 5, Jace and Izzy go off to see Meliorn, and Jace leaves Alec in charge of Clary. I love when he's leaving that conversation that Jace and Alec have with reference to the scenes in episode 4. The whole Alec being in love with Jace thing. I love how Jace just waves it off of, "We're parabatai, of course you love me." Because it would have been a whole lot easier if Alec had just waved it off as being that in episode 4. He didn't have to do that whole dramatic breaking hands thing. So anyway, Alec is left in charge of watching over Clary, but then of course he gets a phone call from future Bay, Magnus Bane. Magnus's sparkly phone case, oh my god. Anyway, Alec turns his back for 1 minute, and of course Clary is off. The thing that really got me about that is when Jace finds out about it, he's just so angry at Alec. And as Alec says, it's Clary, she made the decision herself. She walked out and Alec wasn't looking. And the thing is, Clary isn't a child. She can make her own decisions. It was her decision to leave the Institute. Jace taking it all out on Alec. Jace is so angry in the TV show. I think a couple of other people have pointed out that it seems like a little bit roles reversed. TV show Jace is as angry and moody as book Alec was, whereas TV show Alec is moody in a funny way, the way book Jace was. I don't know how I feel about TV show Jace being so angry all the time. I just want to see him laugh, genuinely. But anyway, back to the scenes between Alec and Clary, because obviously Alec goes chasing after Clary, and we have that whole conversation between them about Alec being in love with Jace, and I absolutely adored that because it's very different to the way it is in the books, but I'm happy with that because the scene in the book where Alec kind of pins Clary up against the wall when they discuss his being in love with Jace. That scene was always very uncomfortable for me. I know it fits in well with Alec's character in the book because he is very guarded about his love for Jace. But I just felt as though the scene in the TV show worked so much better, because when they did the movie and they did the scene accurate to how it was in the book, I didn't like it at all on screen. So I'm happy that it was changed up in the show and it fits TV show Alec's character a lot better. I just need to say how much I love Alec in the TV show. I know they have definitely changed him from the book because they've made him more funny. When I was reading the book, the first book, I did not like Alec at all. I've said that before. He's just not a likeable character, which is understandable because of what he's going through. Whereas in the show, I feel like everybody just loves him, not just because he's pretty, but because his character is so funny in these situations that he doesn't want to be in. So all of his scenes with Clary where he's basically being dragged along to the apartment and then he has to deal with Clary and Simon and he's just having a really bad day. I adored all of that. I love Alec so much. And I am very, very glad that we focused a lot on Alec in this episode. At this point, I feel like Alec is a better character than Jace. So also throughout that whole sequence we have Simon joining the fray. We have Simon joining up with Alec and Clary, and we get to see more of Clary and Simon's friendship when she points to their initials being in the love heart on the wall. She was saying that that was when they were going to be married, and it was just really cute and it showed their friendship well and it wasn't cheesy. I just want to point out again that nothing was cheesy in this episode. The stuff that was supposed to be funny was actually funny. The stuff that was supposed to be cute was actually cute rather than cheesy. I'm just so happy. But yeah, anyway, we got to see more of Simon and Clary's friendship. And then they're taken by the wolves. Poor Simon can't go a few episodes without being kidnapped and also hung upside down. So the wolves. Now, I will admit, I was quite terrified about the wolves. Only because, you know, this is a TV show. The budget's not as big. The CGI that we've seen in the show so far has been a bit hit and miss. Some of it's been really good. Other stuff, like the portals, haven't been that great. So I was definitely worried about the werewolves and how they were going to show them. Were they going to show them in an actual wolf form? Or were they going to do a teen wolf kind of thing, where it's like a weird man wolf? Let me just say, when that werewolf came walking into Jade Wolf through the big wolf cat flap thing, I was so happy and relieved because the wolf looked so on point. It looked really great. All the scenes with the werewolves were just brilliant. I loved the interrogation of Clary. I loved Luke coming in to challenge the alpha and then becoming the alpha. I just thought all of the scenes with the wolves worked really great. So I'm really, really happy about that. We have good wolves. They look great. So that leads us up to the end of the episode with Luke becoming the alpha and getting hurt in the process, so they have to take him off to Magnus. So yeah, that's basically episode 5 in a nutshell. Usually this is the part where I'd talk about the things that I didn't like so much in the episode, but there is nothing that I didn't enjoy. It was definitely a big step up from the other episodes with regards to the script. It was all good. So yeah, Mushu to Go, episode 5. It was a strong episode and it left me very, very happy. Okay, so let's move on to the most recent episode. The feelings that I have for this episode. So I'm going to start this discussion with Harisham Jr. I would like to thank the gods above for Harisham Jr. playing Magnus Bane. This man is just the perfect Magnus Bane that we could have ever hoped for. He has literally just stepped right out of the pages. Let's just rewind and think back to the pilot episode and the second episode as well. We didn't really see much of Magnus. We only saw a couple of clips here and there. I didn't really talk about him that much in my discussion videos because, although I didn't say it, I was slightly underwhelmed with his scenes because they were very quick scenes and we didn't really get a proper introduction to him until episode 4. So those first 2 episodes, I was a little bit nervous. But then episode 4 happened and we realised that Harry was absolutely perfect. And now episode 6 has just gone and confirmed that once again. Everything he does on screen is just Magnus. You can tell that he understands this character perfectly, that he's gone and read the Bane Chronicles and knows Magnus's history You can see that on screen. I mentioned this in my last video, but the way he walks, his mannerisms, everything he does is just so accurate to Magnus Bane. Don't even get me started on how he looks physically. Not only does he act the part of Magnus perfectly, but the look is just perfect. His hair, his hair is just, yes, it's so Magnus. What he wears is Magnus. His glitter nail polish, his rings, his everything. Also, whenever we see him, he's always armed with his glitter eyeliner. Just the little things like that make it all so perfect. We have our glittery, sparkly Magnus that we've always wanted. Praise Harry Shum Jr. and everybody that is in charge with making him look like Magnus. I can't even begin to describe how much I love him being Magnus. He calls Clary Biscuit. I love that so much because it's a little thing in the books that I just really adored, and I'm so happy they've included it in the show because, you know, we all know that they've got to change things up dramatically for it to fit into a TV show. There have been lots of major changes from the books, but the fact that they include just little things like that, just something as simple as Magnus calling Clary Biscuit, it shows that the writers are picking out little things that the fans adore and including it, and I think that just shows so much care in the writing. I loved all the scenes between Magnus and Clary for episode 6. It was kind of like an explanation episode. You had Magnus explaining some of the history of the circle to Clary, and then when Luke is conscious again at the end, he explains some more, which, you know, it kind of is halfway through the season, so I think we would do an episode where things were being explained. And so yeah, all of the scenes between Clary and Magnus I loved. Whilst they were left in the loft, Jace goes off to get ingredients, and of course Simon insists on coming with him. I really loved these scenes between Jace and Simon because there is a lot of tension between them with regards to Clary, and you finally get to see some of that tension boil to the surface. I still think Jace is a little too angry. I feel like he needs a hug or something. But still, I really enjoyed these scenes. When Simon pulls the knife on Jace, I think Jace is finally starting to suspect that something is not quite right with Simon. Also, in this episode, we're introduced to the rest of the Lightwood family. We have Robert coming into the show and bringing with him little Max. Little Max is so small. He is just tiny and adorable and a cute little ball of fluff. And I'm not okay with that. I am not okay with that, because we know if this show progresses beyond season 1, then, you know, we know the heartbreak that we're in for. It's not good. It's not. But the way the Lightwood siblings just lit up when Max came into the Institute, I absolutely adored. I've never seen Alex smile like that before. I've never seen Izzy so happy. And it was just so cute and accurate to their characters. Robert was quite interesting in this episode because he wasn't the absolute dickhead I remember him being from the books. So it kind of made me slightly uncomfortable that I was enjoying Robert's character more than I was Mayrus. But I know what you're really like, Robert. You don't fool me. I also loved his gift for Izzy, the cookbook. So we have the whole Lightwood family in this episode. What really broke my heart was the scenes between Mayrus and Isabel. The scene at the end of the episode where Izzy takes off her usual clothes and dresses up like her mother and ties her hair back in the mirror. That was just so heartbreaking. And I adored it, but it was sad. You could really see the struggle within the family in this show, and I honestly think that the Lightwoods are the strongest part of this show at the moment. I know Clary and Jace are the main characters, but this episode showed how much the Lightwoods just overtake this show. Their storyline is so much more interesting to me than anything that goes on with Clary and Jace. I love the dynamics in this family and the tension and the stress that's on Mayrus and Robert with regards to running the Institute. I just think it was all shown so well on screen. Obviously, we have little hints of this arranged marriage thing that the Lightwood parents have planned for Alec. I remember back like months ago when this storyline was just a rumour, and I did discuss it in one of my videos, saying I wasn't too sure how I felt about it, if it was going to be a real storyline. Now it definitely is going to be a real storyline, and I still don't know how I feel about it. I think it shows the lengths that the Lightwood parents are willing to go to keep their family name strong and to keep control of the Institute. It also shows what the Clave is like and what the Clave expects, because, you know, it's very old-fashioned for parents to have their son marry into a well-respected family just so they can restore their family name. I mean, I said back when I first discussed it that it could be interesting because it's going to give Alec a much bigger storyline, but I'm still not fully decided on it, and I probably won't be until we are introduced to Lydia Bramwell. I know everybody seems to have a lot of passionate feelings either way on Lydia Bramwell online. People are either not liking it at all or just completely protecting her when we haven't even met her in the show yet, so let's just wait and see. We will wait and see. Anyway, aside from the arranged marriage, I loved all of Alec's scenes in this episode. I like when he finally says, screw it, screw all of it, and storms out of the Institute. That is what I like to see. Yes, Alec, you go, Alec. You go and help Magnus. Oh my god, I completely forgot to mention when Magnus says that he needs Alexander. And Jace is like, why? Virgin Shadowhunter energy. I can't cope with Magnus Bane. I can't. He called him Alexander. That's something I forgot to mention in episode 5. He called him Alexander as well. And in episode 6, he called him Alexander. Just, yes. Reading it in the books is everything. Seeing it on screen, it's too much for me to bear. I can't cope. So let's get to those Malik scenes, shall we? At the end of the episode, when Alec comes running in to save the day, and we get the whole take my strength scene. I am so happy with that entire scene. It is everything that I wanted it to be. My little babies teaming up to save Luke. And then afterwards, when Clary and Luke are discussing circle stuff, which I'll get to in a minute. Magnus and Alec celebrating with a drink. Alec doesn't have a clue what he's doing. He does not know what to do. He's just so confused by the attention that Magnus is giving to him. And throughout that entire conversation, where Magnus is like, you've unlocked something in me. Poor Alec. He doesn't know what to say. God bless his little innocent soul. But yeah, I adored the entire scene. I don't really know what to say other than I absolutely loved it. I love Magnus saying that for over a century he hasn't taken an interest in a man or a woman. Once again, we are getting definite representation that he is bisexual. Go Shadowhunters, go. And I loved all of that because it was so Magnus. And then of course Alec's phone has to go off, doesn't it, and ruin the moment. I think my favourite thing in that whole scene was the shush finger thing. Alec's eyes just following Magnus's finger. You do not know how many times I have reblogged GIFs of that scene. Different edits of GIFs of that scene. I lost followers on Tumblr. Yeah, that scene has really kickstarted Malik, so I am excited to see where it's going from here. I thank the stars for Harry Shum Jr. and Matthew Daddario because they were just bringing my OTP to life in front of my eyes. Moving reluctantly away from the Malik, Clary and Luke. At the end of this episode, Luke is conscious again after being saved by Malik. And he is explaining to Clary the parts of the circle story that Magnus didn't tell her. Throughout this episode, we've been getting flashbacks to the circle and Valentine going doolally. First of all, it's already a million times better than the movie, because when the movie did flashbacks to Valentine's downfall, they just had the same actors and tried to make them look younger. Whereas in the show, they've actually cast younger actors. And can we just take a moment to appreciate young Valentine and Luke? I mean, damn. I would be Jocelyn in this situation. I'm not gonna lie. You can't make young Valentine cute. That's just unfair. But then again, that is accurate because he was supposed to be gorgeous and charming. So yeah, top points for that. Although I've just realised that he's not blonde. He's not blonde, he's got dark hair. I've only just thought about that. Does it matter though? Does it really matter? He's really cute, so I don't know if I care about him not being blonde. Cute or not, he is still a little shit, and those flashbacks definitely showed that. I don't think the flashbacks were the strongest point of episode 6, but I did enjoy them. I like that it didn't change the fact that it was Valentine's fault Luke became a werewolf. They've kept that in there and they've kept that accurate, so I'm happy about that. Yeah, I'm kind of mixed about the flashbacks because some of it I really loved, some of it I wasn't quite sure on. But overall, I'm really happy that they've got younger actors to do flashbacks. And it was a good way to explain without just having Luke sitting there telling the whole story to Clary. We got to go and actually see it as well. I actually really loved the conversation between Luke and Clary as well. I think they work really well together. I love Isaiah as Luke. He's a really great Luke and I can't wait to see him in action a lot more. Also, the box with JC written on it. It was the box that Clary found in episode 5 and she shows it to Luke in this episode. So we know shit's getting serious because Jonathan Christopher has been mentioned. Oh boy. Clary doesn't even know what is about to hit her. But it started. She is aware now that she had a brother that died. I'm excited to see the direction the show's going to take with regards to this sibling love. So yeah, I think that's all I want to discuss. As I say at the end of every video, there is probably a lot more, but when I'm filming it just goes blank, no matter how many notes I write. Guaranteed, when I sit down to edit this video, I will think up a million things that I wanted to talk about but have forgotten about. So as always, I will leave a link to my personal Tumblr in the description area, in which I talk about Shadowhunters a lot. So anything that I've forgotten to talk about on here, I will probably talk about it on Tumblr. Also, I love to hear your thoughts. Please tell me everything that you felt and thought about the past 2 episodes in the comments section. Have you enjoyed these past 2 episodes as much as I have? What was your favourite out of the 2? Are you complete and utter Malik trash? Are you loving the on-screen portrayal of Malik? Let me know all the Shadowhunter related things in the comments. Wow. The sun has just gone behind a cloud, so it suddenly got really dark in here. Is the sun going to reappear? Also, in case you didn't already know, I have a giveaway going on my channel to celebrate 1 year of my booktube videos. So feel free to go and check my previous video if you would like to enter that. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. I will see you next time. Bye! I just love Malik so much. I need help.